website right now and download my free course on alternate picking mastery. It contains 5 essential exercises that will take you to alternate picking mastery faster than you can imagine. And then I've included my method of how to lay out a practice plan in just 1 to 2 minutes that will absolutely boost your results like nothing you ever tried before. So go download it right now. It's free. Hey, when you're practicing, what are really the most important things to focus on in order to get huge results? And we talked about that in the previous video. This time we're going to focus on seeing something that simple, but it's so hugely effective when it comes to practicing, and most people forget about it when they do. And it's about planning. And planning sounds like a huge thing, but it's just a thought process. Human beings are the only species on Earth, and you can test me on this one, that has the ability to have abstract thought. And that's a superpower. How do I know that? Well, just look at the planet, right? We're so far beyond any of our nearest neighbors when it comes to thinking. And thinking really is abstract thought. And what does that mean? Well, it means the ability to imagine something that isn't right here, to have pictures in our mind, to have language and words and all kinds of illusions happening really that are not here, that you can't touch or feel. And that ability is a superpower, and that's what's going to bring you to the highest level of skill. So how do we use that? Well, by doing something very simple, and that is determining what to practice and for how long before you practice it. That's the definition of planning, right? To think about what to do before you do it. Right? And most people forget about that. They just pick up their instrument and they practice whatever they have in front of them. But you need to use this superpower to the best of your abilities, because that's what's going to give you the rapid progress you want. You can put in the same hours, do the same things, but if you have that in your mind, if you're working like that, planning, then you will get 10 times the results. And I want you to test this out by doing something very simple. For the next 7 days, every single time you decide to practice something, whether it be a lick, anything, you decide for how long you want to practice it. Because most people, they pick up something, we start playing something and say, okay, let's play this for 10 minutes. Let's just play that exercise for, And then we stop after 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes. We really can't determine for how long we've been practicing that. So we practice it for it's too short to get a result. Because we get bored with it, and then we stop practicing. Why? Because our result within us is to practice it for a couple of minutes. And once we have that result, we get bored with it, we go on. But that's not really the result you want, is it? You want an actual result of having improved your skill level or your ability to play those 3 chords, whatever it is. And that result needs some time. But if you're not measuring yourself, if you're not deciding before you begin for exactly how long you're going to do it or how many times you're going to do it, you're going to trip yourself up and fall into the trap of thinking that you've done it for a quality amount of time. And then you don't get your results because you dabble with anything you touch. If the monkey brain, which is the one that's going to be bored with what you do, is going to determine when you stop stuff, then you won't get to the level you want. So do this simple thing for at least 7 days. Every time you pick up your guitar and decide to practice something, also decide for how long you're going to practice it or for how many times, and say, okay, what's reasonable? Okay, let's play this 500 times. I'm going to repeat these 2 chords 500 times. 1, 2, 3, and then suddenly, or I'm going to play it for 15 minutes. And that's sometimes a lot. Even your small expectations of what you want to do. I want to practice for 5 minutes. When you actually start measuring yourself, you see that 5 minutes is a long time sometimes, right? That there's a distance between what you think you're doing and what you're actually doing because you're not conscious, because you're not using your abstract thought ability, right? So decide in advance. And you can take that to an even greater level. What am I going to practice? What's the main thing I'm going to practice or build my skills? What's the area? Is it chords? Is it picking? And within that, is it alternate picking? Is it sweep picking? What is it, right? What is the result I'm out to get? And how am I going to get there? And once you start really being directed by something as specific as that, and you start thinking about whether or not you're moving along that path, then stuff starts really happening. And then go back and watch the previous video, because that's really connected to the previous one. So on the top level, what are you practicing? Main level skills, but what is that skill level really? On the next lower level, what are the areas you need to master? Under each of those areas, what is the sub areas of? Is it picking? Is it picking on one string? Is it in sweep picking? Is there a specific exercise you want to master? You know, you don't have to sit and write that down, but you need to think like this. You need to plan and have that vision of, okay, I'm practicing this for this month, or these 6 months, or this year, and then you need to track that down. And you can change your plans, all the time. That doesn't matter. The thing that matters is, do you have that kind of time perspective, and are you deciding before you start? That's all it is. And just that little act, even if you're not deciding on anything big, just deciding for how long or how many times you're going to do something every single time you do something. Even if you're playing that old lick, how many times are you going to practice that? Oh, I'll drop my pick. Or for how long are you going to practice that? Decide and act. Decide and act. That's your unique human and most powerful capability.
Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.